some systems in your home, and because of that, you're able to participate in a utility-sponsored DR event. I do revenue share with you. So I take some, you take some, and the utility benefits because it doesn't have to turn on a peaker or buy electricity in the open market. So it is certainly a value proposition for everyone, and that's how it works today.
Well, I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
I personally...
It does exist today. The two companies that are most involved are a company called Converge and Enernoc, and really Converge more residential and Enernoc a little more business. But the utilities don't really have a way of dealing directly with just you. That's the problem. So if you save a watt, that's great, but the utilities just can't deal with that. So they go to a Converge, and a Converge then would accumulate 100,000 of you, and then aggregate all of that savings. And as part of that, they would pay you 10, 20, 30 bucks for the right to control your pool pump during peak hours, no more than 8 times in a year or something like that. Because energy efficiency is just as valuable as, and actually it's much cheaper than building the new peaker plant. And in California with the decoupling, they get paid just as much. So there is an incentive for the utilities to save power, and they get paid just as much as if they sold that power.
And just to follow up on what Victor said, think about how big this problem is really, because you would think this is fairly easy to do. It's very hard. So for example, let's say the Walmarts of the world signed up for DR, where I got control of their lights, and I could dim their lights during a DR event. But let's say that the manager on the floor there realizes that by dimming the lights, the shopping experience is diminished, and says, no way, I want to override this, and I want to turn up the lights. Then the middleman, which is the company that offers this as a service, not only has to aggregate, but it has to optimize on the fly to find a new reserve, because it's made a commitment to the utility to offer a certain amount of megawatts. So this becomes a huge problem of aggregating data, analyzing data, and the requirements that are going to come from the utility, so anticipating it, and at the same time responding in real time. So it is a huge big data problem, and it can have serious repercussions for the utility and for the customer. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you very much. We have time for one more question. Oh, we have multiple questions here. Choose one.
Yeah, slightly off the wall, what the subject, or maybe off something unique. I'm a partner in a recruiting company here in the Bay Area, very active in the big data, energy space. I have a longer practice area in the cloud space, and this might benefit people who are sort of thinking about career choices. But what do you see are perhaps the top 3 unique talent needs, especially for the VC guys who are looking at startups? Are there things that are unique that you see coming up where people need to sort of be retrained or get some skills that they probably don't have today?
I guess one thing I'd say there, in the companies I think about that we've looked at, there has to be someone that has that unique ability to crunch the data into and develop an algorithm. And that's a skill set that is core to all of these big data plays. Though when we start building those companies, they're hiring engineers and they're trying to attract them, rather than go code for Facebook, come code for us. And so that's often the big challenge. It's not, the unique ability that kind of is at the core of it, but it's really attracting an engineering team to be able to go and execute that understands sort of the statistical nature as well as the algorithms and other things, and then being able to present that in a way that's attractive to whoever the consumer is, whether it's a business or individual.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think talent retention is a really big problem here, because if you take the best programmers, for example, you'll realize that, and the number crunchers, the thing is, if they feel that your clean tech startup is not going to ramp up the way it was supposed to because of the adverse market or whatever, you are left with a lemons problem. The best guys go to the Facebooks or the other players. But having said that, I mean, we still are able to recruit good talent, and I think one of the things that's very critical here is the interdisciplinary nature of the work that's involved. We really feel that a startup has to be very nimble. Sometimes the business plan changes depending on the customer, the market. So you need an engineer who is not only able to do the number crunching, but also is able to put that in context with what the overall goal of the company is. It's not like you have a sales team that goes and talks and then gives you a very structured problem that the engineer solves. Sometimes in startups, I think it's the ability of the engineer to use his or her interdisciplinary ability to take a ill-posed problem and give it structure. I think that is really important, at least in the early stages of a startup.
Last question.
So it's more of a comment. We know that in the clean tech or energy space, I get a feeling that it's not doing so well right now. But I want to say that I work for a startup in clean tech, and we built a software for the demand response. And we were very successful in many utilities and ISOs, and we sold the company last year. So to Alstom. So even though the market is not that good, but there is an opportunity for in the energy space to build a startup, work with the utilities, work with the CSPs or different players, and still be successful. So
Thanks for your comment. And I think with that, we'd like to really thank our panel for their time and their expertise and knowledge sharing with us. And thank you all. Thank you very much for your patience and listening to us. Thank you very much. Give them a